what do you guys think about 10,000 character tweets coming soon to a Twitter near you?
Weird.
It's not the Twitter. It's Medium.
It's
weird. It changes everything. It changes everything.
Do you think it's Ev Williams' envy on the part of Jack? Or
no, I think it's content and article and advertising, thus envy.
What does that mean?
They
want to. How would this help that?
They want a place to get more engagement and time and put advertising.
We're not going to get 10,000 character advertisements.
No,
actually,
native advertising.
Yeah.
More time instant articles, but like inside Twitter.
Right.
Now, if it carries, if it's like AMP and instant articles, and the publisher's content is the way it works for me. If I click on a link and it's right there because then I'm okay with it. But the AMP should do that without this. If instead a tweet is replaced by this, they don't want you to link off. Basically, there was another review. It's link dead. Because the link should seem instantaneous. But AMP itself would do that without the need for this change in format. So I don't get that. But I understand the need to say, when I click on a link, baby, I want it there. And I don't want to feel like I'm leaving Twitter. Just like Nuzzle. When you use Nuzzle and you go to AMP content, you don't feel like you're leaving Nuzzle.
Well, but Twitter has its own. Isn't Twitter part of AMP?
Yes, it is. That's why this puzzles me. Because AMP content should appear like that. Now, if that's what this is, if it's just opening up an AMP page, I'm cool with it because the publisher's ad is there and brand is there and everything is there. And the experience for the user is better. But that's not what this is.
So, in fact,
we're still speculative. We don't really know what it is.
Yeah, we don't. Will Oramus, who's been really knocking it out of the park lately on Slate, said they're not raising the character limit. They're becoming a walled garden. And his point being, which I think is a good point, is similar to what you just said, is instead of, people could always post long articles on Twitter. You post a link. But what it's encouraging you to do instead is not post a link, but in fact put the article on Twitter. And that becomes then part of Twitter's walled garden.
But if it's like instant articles, and if I get an ad there, and if I get some data, and if I get some other things, as a publisher, I wouldn't be opposed. If I'm expected, however, to publish my stuff separately, and to publish it on Twitter, and I can't put my ad up there, then I'm unhappy. So but we don't know yet.
So according to Jack's tweet, the all we really know is what Jack tweeted, right?
Right.
And he compared it to what people are already doing, which is posting pictures of text.
Yeah, see, that's why I really like Will's take in Slate, the idea that you're not, clicking on a link, that the link just kind of gets sucked in, this whole article is there. But to me as a user, there's a big difference between me, containing an entire tweet storm into one post and me linking to one of Lynn's articles, right? Like, one is something that I've written and one is something that someone else has written that just kind of got sucked in or is being, displayed there. Right. I mean, as soon as you get into a place where someone, the user can type 10,000 characters, you're looking at an editor with formatting and placing photos.
Are they going to do that?
Video go? I don't know. I mean, you're looking at a full blown editor like a la Medium. I don't know if they're going to do that. That seems weird.
Yeah.
It seems strange.
It's not Twitter, as Lynn said.
That's what Jack. I mean, Jack seemed to indicate like, hey, instead of taking a screenshot of this text, you could have written this text right here on Twitter. Which is different than I'm just going to, instead of linking to this article, I'm just going to pull it in right here and refer to it here.
I have to say that Jack's tweet, which I'm showing here, which is a picture of text so that he can do a long tweet, strikes me totally as spin, not really to the point, but merely spinning it. What if the text that people are already putting in here as pictures were actually text that could be searched, could be highlighted? That's more utility, more power.
More platform.
More platform.
More AOL. More Prodigy. More...
Yeah. He says, and I love tweet storms. Those won't go away.
I love the little autocorrect red doodle under there.
Yeah, no
red
such
squiggle.
word. Sorry. That's one problem with, by the way, as screen capping text, you get the operating system's complaints about your spelling.
And the cursor.
Yeah. Well, we know he's using a Mac. So what, Lynn, do you think you kind of said this is not Twitter anymore?
No, it becomes a publishing platform. right? And not just, because when Twitter started, right, the argument was always, is Twitter about what I'm doing now, or is Twitter about sharing news, right? So, but this takes it in an even entirely different direction, where it's more of medium, like Gina said, publishing platform. I don't think it's just about getting instant articles. I think it's about adding more context to content and having more SEO power and more of a walled garden, doing more of a Facebook thing.
This is a big pivot. This isn't, Jack would have you believe, well, no, it looks the same. You still have 140 characters. Now there's a more button or a ... something to indicate there's more text you can open up. It's going to be the same, but better. No, this strikes me really as quite a pivot for Twitter.
So, Lynn, what would you tell your clients about how to exploit this?
Good question.
Whoa, that's a tricky one. I mean, for brands, I mean, it could be. The thing is this: if people spend more time people are going to spend more time with less stuff. That's what definitely ends up happening. Like now, when you look at Twitter feed, you go through things really quickly, right? So now you'll be spending more time with less stuff. So that less stuff has to resonate in a better way, and influence is going to change the way influence works on Twitter too. So I think what I would recommend to brands is it's not even like, I don't know, it just changes things so much.
You have to think of Twitter as something different, don't you?
Yeah, it's like I can't even think of what the strategy would be at this stage. I have to really see it, because is it like when you see it, will you see 140 characters, and then if you want to see more, you click to see more? You know how some sites now, to see the rest of the article, you click to see the rest of the article. Or is it an instant article type of thing? Is it going to be like Medium? And if it is going to be like Medium, then brands do definitely have to start thinking about being more content publishers.
In my opinion, so there's just no question that Twitter is 140 characters. Period. That's Twitter.
It's the defining.
So it's the defining character. It is the defining characteristic. Period. Yes. So if you're going to be a brand, I would say continue to use Twitter as you had. I as a Twitter user, I don't want a 1,500 word article from a brand. I want a short tweet, a picture. That's what Twitter is. On the other hand, if you're it depends on the brand, doesn't it? So I'm thinking Kraft cheese. But if you're a news property, Jeff, if you're Washington Post, how would you use this? Would you put an article there?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think, well, again, depends on the business deal, depends on what your ad and your data and your brand looks like. But people aren't going to come to our sites anymore, and we have to go to them.
So just use it like Facebook. Use it like Medium.
Like instant articles. I think it's maybe instant articles jealousy. Now, if I'm Google and AMP looking at this, you're right. Twitter was a partner in AMP. AMP does this with a plain old web page. It doesn't create walled gardens. It keeps the open web.
How would so if Twitter wanted to support AMP, how would they support AMP and still accomplish this? With a link to an AMP page?
To an AMP page, and the AMP page just opens up. It won't open, and you can do it modularly. You could create an AMP module so it opened up in a Twitter client.
Oh, it could. So it could Ajax in an Ajax-y fashion kind of swoop open, and then you'd read it and then swoop close. I would like that as an interface. That would be nice. Maybe that's how we don't know that that's not what they're going to do.
So, but that's not but that's the reason that we know that's not AMP is because that's not just there's not a 10,000 character limit on.
Oh, AMP could be any
It's just a web page.
Yeah,
web page. Period. We've got a confluence of a lot of things happening here, right? A lot of this is about people aren't linking off because they're just going through streams. The like and the link and all that is meaningless in some measure. We have ad blocking causing huge issues. We have just plain too much effing content. There's just too much repetition, too much of everything. And so, the confluence and mobile changes the experience. You don't want to link off. It changes that. So we're seeing some struggling with trying to figure out where the web goes. And this is a fight of different visions. None very well gelled, I think.
If you look at what Twitter does with embedded tweets, it seems to me like what Twitter wants is for the news to happen on Twitter. Right? Like they want the comments from the sources to happen on Twitter. So sometimes 140 characters, it just isn't enough to say what you need to say or to have that clarity. So, one way that they could support AMP is to amplify the tweet pages, right? Like the tweet pages themselves are the source. And I think that's what Twitter wants. And I imagine, if I was a news publication, if I was still running Lifehacker, I could imagine, having the headline and then in the 3 bullet points of the story, the summary points, and then the link off to the story. That could be one way to do it. But I think there's going to be a lot of different ways to use that extra room. I think we're also going to see a lot of clickbaity, Upworthy, you won't believe what happened next. Try to get people to tap on the more.
It's such a departure. Maybe we shouldn't be. I shouldn't be quick to complain about it because maybe it'll be great.
It really depends on what the experience is going to be like. We don't know yet, right? We haven't seen it.